42% of new American homes develop framing defects within a single decade. A generation ago, houses were built to last a century. Now they're built to fall apart, and the reason why starts inside the walls themselves. In the years after World War II, American homes were built to outlast their owners. The average single-family house measured just about 1,000 square feet, modest by today's standards, but constructed with a level of care and material quality that now seems almost unthinkable. Walls were finished with thick plaster laid over wooden lath, a combination proven to remain solid for a century or more. Inside those walls, the framing came from old-growth Douglas fir and other mature softwoods cut from trees that had grown undisturbed for 100, sometimes 200 years. That wood was dense, about 0.55 grams per cubic centimeter, making each stud heavy in the hand, resistant to warping, and naturally guarded against rot. An old-growth forester might run a hand across a beam and tell you, "This tree started growing before the Civil War. It will hold up another 100 years if you keep it dry." These houses were built with the expectation that their bones would last for generations. Material choices were not just about price, they were about permanence. And the evidence is still standing in neighborhoods across the country. The craftsmanship and the raw materials set a benchmark. A home was not just shelter, it was a legacy. By the mid-1995s, the backbone of American home building had changed. Old-growth lumber, once dense at around 0.55 grams per cubic centimeter, was replaced by fast-grown plantation wood, often harvested after just 20 or 30 years. The studs going into new homes now averaged only 0.38 grams per cubic centimeter. That drop in density means more knots, more sapwood, and far less resistance to warping or rot. Builders didn't stop there. Oriented strand board, or OSB, swept through the industry, taking over more than 70% of wall, floor, and roof sheathing by the early 2000s. OSB is made of wood flakes and resin pressed into panels that look solid until they get wet. One bad leak or a few cycles of humidity can trigger delamination, layers peeling apart, losing their strength. In some regions, a single moisture event is enough to ruin entire walls. The consequences show up in the numbers. 42% of all defect claims in the first decade are tied to framing lumber. These aren't rare failures. They're the direct result of material choices that favor speed and cost over permanence. The transformation of American home building isn't just about materials. It's about who controls the market and how they make money. In 2000, the 10 largest builders accounted for just 18% of new single-family homes. By 2025, their share has doubled to 36%. This consolidation gives a handful of corporations the power to dictate construction standards and supply chains nationwide. D.R. Horton, the country's largest builder, reports gross profit margins consistently between 20% and 22% year after year. That number isn't a fluke. It's the result of relentless pressure to cut costs wherever possible, from framing to finish work. Internal memos and investor calls reveal the mindset. Keep margins high, even if it means using cheaper, less durable materials. As one D.R. Horton vice president put it, "We're not in the business of building legacy homes, we're in the business of turning inventory." The result is a system that rewards speed and volume over longevity. Workmanship warranties, once 10 years, now often last just 12 months, barely enough time for the first winter to reveal what's hidden behind the drywall. These are not isolated decisions. They are the logic of a market where profit comes first, and durability is an afterthought. Inside the walls of millions of new American homes, the failures aren't just likely. They're almost invisible until disaster hits. Cross-linked polyethylene, or PEX, has replaced copper for plumbing in most new builds since the 1990s. It's flexible and cheap, but lab tests show PX can crack in as little as 15 years when exposed to chlorine or high heat. Some fittings start to leak before the first mortgage is paid off. Vinyl windows, chosen for cost over performance, begin to warp at just 165 degrees Fahrenheit, a temperature reached in many attics and sun-exposed frames. When seals fail, condensation creeps in, and energy bills spike. Hardboard siding, once sold as a maintenance-free upgrade, has triggered over $1 billion in class action settlements after swelling, splitting, and rotting from ordinary rain. Industry audits reveal the true scale. Up to 80% of material defects are hidden behind drywall, missed by inspectors, and invisible to buyers until the damage is done. These aren't isolated mistakes. They're the direct result of corporate decisions to cut cost, leaving homeowners to absorb the risk. Across the country, the rules meant to protect home buyers are anything but uniform. Only 26 states enforce mandatory statewide building codes. The rest leave oversight to counties or cities, creating a checkerboard of standards. In practice, this means that a house built on one side of a county line might face stricter rules than a neighbor just down the road. Inspections, which are supposed to catch hidden flaws, often last just 2 to 4 hours for homes that took months to build. According to inspection logs, the average inspector moves quickly from site to site, checking off code requirements on a clipboard. State code commissioners acknowledge the pressure. With hundreds of builds in the pipeline and limited staff, most inspections focus on what's visible, not what's buried behind drywall. The result is a system where critical defects, rot-prone studs, unsealed OSB, leaky PEX joints, slip through undetected, leaving buyers with little assurance that their new home meets even the minimum standard. More than 92% of new home contracts now include binding arbitration clauses, language that strips homeowners of their right to go to court when serious defects appear. Instead, disputes are funneled into private proceedings, overseen by arbitrators who often have deep ties to the building industry. The result is predictable. Between 2015 and 2022, builders paid out $2.1 billion in settlements. But individual homeowners rarely recover the true cost of repairs. Arbitration limits discovery, caps damages, and shields systemic failures from public scrutiny. For families facing leaking pipes, rotting walls, or warped windows, the legal deck is stacked. The system is designed to protect corporate profits, not the people living with the fallout. Right now, 80% of home defects stay hidden behind drywall, by design, not accident. Until we demand accountability from builders and regulators, fragile homes remain America's silent inheritance. Share your experience below.